Hello, this is my analysis of Genesis chapter 8. So many questions. But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him, and he sent wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates closed, and the water receded steadily of the earth. And the end of the 150 days, the water had gone down, and on the 17th day of the 17th month it came to rest, and the waters continued to recede. And we have all of this very specific time frame of how this is happening. After 40 days, and on the 17th day of the 17th month. And then after 40 days, he sent out a raven, and it kept flying back and forth until the water had dried up. But then he sends out a dove. So we have a redundancy in the story, which makes me question this. Was the raven the original story, and somebody who was translating this book at a certain time came along and saw that and was like, no, a raven's not cool enough. It's not flowery enough. We need to put in a dove. A dove's cooler than a raven, right? The connotations with the raven are way different than the connotations with a dove. So I'm going to this thing about the raven, it went back and forth until it dried up. It's done. We already have the entire story, right? The flood happened. The ark came to rest. The water receded. We already have that timeline up here. And on the 17th day of the 17th month, the ark came to rest. And the water receded after 120 days or whatever, 150 days. So we have the story, and then we have an addition to the story that the raven was sent out, and it kept flying back and forth until the water had dried up. But then we have this really big interjection with the dove. 7 more days, and then the dove returned to him with the beak. It had a freshly plucked olive leaf. Oh my God! And then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth, but still he waited 7 more days. And I like this mention here where he reached out his hand and took the dove and brought it back into himself in the ark. He just really embraced this bird at this point. Like, this is my bird. But the thing with the raven kind of bothers me, and then the interjection of this dove, and then the dove is gone. It waited 7 more days. It's all very, very specific with the days. And the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up from the earth. But that had already happened. So, if you saw that, I'm not recording this again. That was my son sending a text. He's bringing broccoli home from his ag class in high school, and he said, "Never mind, the broccoli's not available anymore." So that's all of that text. Anyway, so we have these very specific things, and then on the 27th, the earth was completely dry, and then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark." And he's very proud of himself here. Bring them so they can multiply the earth and be fruitful and increase in number. So Noah came out together with his wives and son and all the animals and the creatures and everything that moved on the land, and then Noah built an altar. And so these animals, okay, so this is so problematic. That was very dramatic. Dramatic. So these animals that came, there were 7 pairs of each animal, right? So 14 of each kind. They lived on this ark for over a year by its own count, right? So these 14 animals of each kind had offspring, presumably. So then the first thing that happens to these animals when they come out from spending over a year, he takes some of the clean and unclean animals and birds. Where is it? Clean animals and clean birds. Yeah, not even the unclean ones too, just the clean ones. And he sacrifices them as burnt offerings. I mean, just from okay, yeah, I get it. Like, he just killed everything on earth besides them, so why not kill them too? But It's so ridiculous. And then, okay. So there were 7 pairs, and the 7 pairs gets added in there later. First is just a pair of each kind. It just keeps getting added into as it's redundant. It's redundant. It's redundant. It says the same things over and over and over, and then it interjects something else, and none of it's believable. None of it comports with reality. None of it shows. We're supposed to believe that all of humanity was handed down from Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and his 3 daughters-in-law. We're supposed to believe.